Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks, and welcome to another episode in the upside down clown world of lockdown news. Let's start with this story about schools in the UK. Now, in this new clown world that we inhabit, the media, they have really amplified stories that cause division and conflict, which we should all ignore because they are literally trying to formulate groups in society and then get them to argue with one another. This can be seen with the endless articles trying to get pro-lockdowners arguing with anti-lockdowners. It used to be about Labour against Conservative. We now have endless parade of tabloid reports about Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ stories that are designed to cause conflict. This is all designed to wind people up and distract them. Don't fall for it, okay? Don't fall for that nonsense. Now today we see this story which is designed to get parents to get angry with teachers. Look at the headline: schools out, school closures, parents fury as teachers call online snow day with Zoom lessons scrapped. Now children haven't been going to school now since Christmas. Is that what it was? Teachers have been going to school and giving Zoom lessons to kids who are at home from the school. And basically it's snowing today in some parts of the UK, and some teachers have said we are cancelling the Zoom lessons today because they can't get into school or whatever. And this has led to frustrated parents who have now been stuck with their kids at home for over a month now, getting angry and calling the teachers lazy and so forth. Again, it's not the teachers you should be angry with, it's the government who you should be angry with. It's them and the powers that control the government who have stopped your kid going to school, okay? Boris Johnson has said that kids may be going back to school in March. Well, I wouldn't get your hopes up because kids going to school doesn't sit well with the whole Great Reset plan, which everything that is happening at the moment is following like a blueprint to the beat of the Great Reset clock. See here from the World Economic Forum website, and this is from April last year. The pandemic has changed education forever. This is how, and it says, the pandemic has resulted in schools shut all across the world. Globally, over 1.2 billion children are out of the classroom. As a result, education has changed dramatically with the distinctive rise of e-learning, whereby teaching is undertaken remotely and on digital platforms. Research suggests that online learning has been shown to increase retention of information and takes less time, meaning the changes the pandemic have caused might be here to stay, it says. And if you read the article, it's clear to see that in this new clown world, kids interacting at school is not something that excites the Build Back Better crew. No, they are more into kids being programmed like robots at home. So I don't know for sure what the plan is, but I'll be surprised if the kids go back to school in March. And the way things are going, with lockdowns now being muted to be going on for years, well, if that happens, what jobs is there going to be for them anyhow, after all the businesses have collapsed? I mean, that is a pretty bleak outlook, but you only have to look at what the government has been saying recently. It's gone from the children's education is our number one priority to just take them out and leave them at home like everyone else. This whole situation started with 3 weeks to flatten the curve, and now look where we are 10 months later. Who's to say this won't be the same with the kids not going back to school? We are in an upside down world, remember? Anything is possible. And for those out there who have followed the rules with your double mask compliance, who now have your children stuck at home with you, their education and their life now being put on hold, well, don't say I didn't warn you. Next up, in other news, here is a good example of how media spin and reality don't join up. If you were to listen to the BBC and other mainstream media, they would have us believe that the jab rollout is a massive success and that demand is outstripping supply. Well, not so in this article in the Mirror. Vaccine centre closes early 3 days running after not enough people come forward. The John Scott Centre in Hackney, East London, has had to close at 2 p.m. on 3 consecutive days. And why is this, you ask? Because not enough people have come forward for a jab. The temporary facility housed at the John Scott Centre in Hackney is open to patients from 40 GP surgeries, but experienced several days of really low patient uptake last week. It has been administering vaccines from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. every day until the sudden drop-off in appointments, forcing it to close at 2 p.m. on multiple occasions, reports The Times. So as you can see, these jabs are still going out to the older over 70s, who I believe will be probably easier to persuade. But the younger the age groups get, the more reluctant they will be. And if there is already a low turnout with the 70 plus, then that is only going to increase as they get younger, which makes me wonder, is the kids and them being at home from the schools, is that going to be used as a tactic? I mean, I'm being kind with my words here when I say tactic. Is the keeping children from school going to be used like they are using jabs with people and freedom now? As, for example, they said, we won't open up society unless 80% of the population get the jab. They said that at the start. They've now turned around and said, well, even if everyone gets the jab, we will still have lockdowns, etc. But will they say the same thing in the future? Will they say, we can't send the kids back to school until 80% of the population get the jab? As I've already said, these governments are using sophisticated psychological tactics on the public. Don't let them coerce you into doing something you don't want to do. And so on to this last story of a man in his 70s who got the jab in New York and died minutes afterwards. This is from MSN. 70-year-old man collapses, dies just 25 minutes after taking the vaccine. Exact reason? Unclear, it says. Exact reason unclear. Okay, let's see what this says. Raising major concerns on the safety of the vaccine, an elderly man in New York died just 25 minutes after he was administered the vaccine on Sunday morning, according to the Daily Mail. The 70-year-old man collapsed as he left Manhattan's Jacob Javits Convention Center just 25 minutes after receiving his shot. Though first responders rushed to his side within seconds, the man was pronounced dead at a local hospital a short time later. Now call me a crazy conspiracy theorist, but my first estimation would be that maybe it was the jab. Seeing that he got it 25 minutes earlier, I mean, he managed to live for the last 70 years without dying. He gets the jab and then 25 minutes later, boom, that 70 years of living has ended. But no, that's not the conclusion the officials are coming to. It says here, after his death, health officials said that the elderly man had exhibited no adverse reactions, nor did he have any allergic reaction to the vaccine during the required 15-minute observation period. As of now, it is not clear if the man's death happened because of the vaccine, and an investigation into the case is now underway. So they are saying that he didn't show any adverse reactions. He didn't show any adverse reactions. Does death after 25 minutes not count as an adverse reaction? No? Doesn't seem so. It goes on to say, despite the unexplained death, New York State Health Commissioner Howard Zucker said in a statement to Fox News that the vaccine is safe and urged all eligible New Yorkers to get vaccinated. He said, the vaccine is safe, and together with continued vigilance, including wearing a mask and social distancing, it will bring an end to this pandemic. I encourage all eligible New Yorkers to get the jab, Zucker said. So there you go. This is the upside down clown world we are now inhabiting. A world where a 70-year-old man dies 25 minutes after getting the jab, and it's declared that we don't think it's the jab. It's unclear. He didn't display any adverse reactions apart from dying, of course. And yet, had he died within 28 days of receiving a positive PCR test, if he died of anything, heart attack, fallen off a bridge, run over by a car, he would have been marked down as dying from COVID. That's the upside down world we are now living in. What we need to do is join together and try and flip it back round so it's the right way up. And there are positive signs. The longer this goes on, the more crazy it is all beginning to sound. This is either down to their desperation in keeping it going and it's not working, or that a lot of these people are clearly nutty. Keep on sharing videos online. Mine, other people's, keep on sharing articles that highlight the ridiculousness, the chaos that lockdowns are causing. Just get that information circulated as much as you can, and more people will get information, and it will encourage them to think more. It will encourage them to question more, and then hopefully they will have a moment of realization. Hopefully. As always, thanks for listening. Come and subscribe to hugotalks.com so that I can keep in contact with you in case I get deplatformed from here or other places. Stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.